Hello again, guys. Today I'm going to continue with looking at news, like always. The two news that actually got my eyes' attention. One of them was Apple, since we have positive news here as Apple shares gain on bullish Goldman call. Investors didn't hesitate to scope up Apple stock after Goldman's latest notes. It is saying that their session has been finished with some increasement, which is very positive news for them. For that, let's jump into the chart and see what is happening. As always, let me just reset the view. I will start with the weekly to have a good sense of what is going on in the history, not zooming out a lot because just looking at the very just 3 or 4 years ago or even far, it's not going to help you that much. But always, as I said, uh, having a good view of the history will give you a better understanding. The reason that I just immediately grab my Fibonacci retracement tool is that I'm seeing some sort of bullish, impulsive bullish wave and some sort of reversal. So that's why I just try to understand, okay, if it is the bullish impulsive wave, it is bullish, of course, but if it is the impulsive wave, I would like to see how much it has been corrected. As I can see, it is onto 38.2 percentage, which is the Fibonacci. It has been respected to that level. We don't know if it is going to drop more or not, but the most important thing to me is that just remember this level, get rid of that. You know how I'm a fan of not messing the chart up. Let's just clarify. We have a very important support zone here. I guess this is the most important thing that we want to take away from this weekly uh, chart. Let me just clarify that, okay, we had some sort of reactions before as Bose's resistance here, and after breakout as the support, and that support has been continued to the last few months this year. And here is the most important thing that you can take away from that Fibonacci level. We know that that correction was just to the 38, if I can remember, percentage Fibo level. And let's, good information, but let's also take a look at this impulsive wave and see if what we can see. I can obviously see very, very obvious five waves here. I can say that this is the first wave, the second wave as as my correction. This is going to be my fifth wave, sorry, third wave, the fourth and the fifth. Let's just fix them a little bit. Let's zoom out. Okay, I, I I can see that these five waves actually um, I've gotten I've gotten period to this correction. And let's take a look at what is what I can actually uh, find out more here for these. I guess the third wave I've not counted. This is the why I'm just stopped a little bit, start to think while I was talking. The reason is that I'm actually seeing this is a third wave, and we actually had some sort of a sideway because the interesting part for me is that it is obvious that this is one two three, or if I want to correct it, it is A B C, this corrective structure here, and it is zigzag. It is a very sharp correction, and usually with that happens, we are not going to have same zigzag. If I wanted to count these as four, which seems to be a zigzag. So also another thing is that when I actually count them initially, I found that okay, the third wave just through here, I can see a very big change to the behavior. See that this was the first phase, and that thing was the second phase of that wave, and it is some sort of uh, it is not normal actually. Waves, yes, the minor waves can a little bit change the behavior, but the whole generic behavior usually is not going to be changed this much. So that's why I just stopped, think, rethink again, and it is always happening when you are analyzing. It is not just I don't just memorize everything prior coming to this chart. I will try to clean the chart. I have some, of course, some knowledge prior that I started streaming. I've take a look at that, but not just write down everything that I want to share with you. I would try to reanalyze it again. And now I saw that, okay, this is the thing. The important thing that if it does the third way and this is the fourth way, what kind of uh, correction we had? I can see we had some sort of symmetric triangle as the side wave. I can show it to you by drawing some sort of thing like this here. So it wasn't some sort of a symmetric triangle, and it just broken and created the last continued last fifth wave. So this is actually giving me a better sense, better confidence when I actually um, have have a good understanding of what is going on. Another thing, because I'm also put this arrow inside that shadow, you can see as when I'm again rethink about it, I can actually remove this, create some sort of horizontal line or some sort of rectangle here. And if I continue that, I can see that it could be some sort of as well a descending, ascending triangle as well. Uh, if I actually draw this as something like that, and if I continue this, it might be some sort of a descending triangle as well. And the fourth wave could be a start from here. And I guess this is the better one because I can see one, two, three, four, five as the minor wave of the last wave. And now I can see also these three here. This is completely clear. These five waves, minor waves for the last wave. So I can call these as my correction. And with that, let's put this here. With that, now I can have a better feeling that this is some sort of sideways corrective structure. Now I have a better feeling when I talk about this impulsive wave. Now I have a better feeling. Okay, yes, it is. And now let's go back to the more important part. Just having a better, clear understanding of what just happened would just bring me to that. Okay, now at the last point of this third wave, just some sort of a resistance level or critical level just created, and still it is solid up to now from a few years ago. That's a good takeaway from this. Let's jump into the daily view. Let's just zoom out a little bit more. Now I have these some kind of ABC, which I can see that it is just reversed as well. So this is the destination of that impulsive wave. So from this time, I can see some sort of waves that they are so close. So I can draw some sort of a trend line as such here. And I can see that if it is an ABC, these targets of A and B are almost in the same zone. Also, I can see that the target of the this B, if this is the B, the this whole wave, also I can see A also had some sort of correction here. Hmm. Usually when these things happen, you are encountering some sort of impulsive wave. It can be also an impulsive wave to the downtrend impulsive wave that creating diagonals, which the waves will enter the territory of the previous waves. But anyhow, what I don't really like about this trend line is that it doesn't have that much of angle. So I would like to remove that and just draw another rectangle because the support and resistance zones are not exactly one point or exact price or anything like that. They are zones, they're areas. So with that in mind, I can almost have the same uh, area as the same width that I had here and see that it is some sort of a range market or flat. So I can see that we had some kind of um, reaction to this as resistance 3 times here. It's just price reverse again, reach that level for the first time, and again reverse back even until that support. That support shoot that up, and it bounced to the same level again. Again, that reached out that final. So if I now zoom a little bit, not just go into the weekly view again, because I know this is when my corrective structure just began. So I can see that I have a flat sideways structures. The whole thing that you're seeing on the screen is a flat, that it's a range market, just price moving up and down between two levels. And it is a sideways structure, one of those. I talked about symmetric triangle just a few minutes ago. Also talk about ascending or descending triangle as well. But those are we have another kind of sideways structure, which we call it top. Um, sorry, flat. And this is the top of the flat, of course. This is flat, and how waves just behave inside these flat. I can show you that it is an ABC flats. We know that this was the end of this my wave. It's just not the wrong tool. Let me grab one ABC. This is the A, B, and C. This is my flat. However, the minor waves, I didn't count the minor waves in the last impulsive peak wave because we are not that much interested to those details. We can go and try to count them from the educational perspective to analyze them to learn more, of course. But for understanding the current situation of the market, those are very old, and I don't want to actually put so much energy on them. But these ABCs, when they are in zigzag, they are 5-3-5. It means that the A is 5 wave impulsive, B is 3 waves ABC corrective, and C is again impulsive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But when it is a flat, we still have that ABC, but the waves are 3-3-5. So it is going to be a 3 wave. So I will call it okay, 3 wave. I need to grab that ABC again, indicating that it's a 3 wave. It is ABC. Let's change the color of that to something like this. Also, it is not an intermediate, it is a minor wave. So we know that this ABC is the detailed waves of this whole A. This is going to be another ABC. Maybe that is ABC or A have that gap A, B, C, something like that. I don't want to just go over to that. But it's the last wave, it is going to be 5 according to Eliot's wave theory. I'm not just creating these rules. These are coming from Eliot's wave theory. And it is a little bit of hard to understand what is going on about these 5 waves because we want to get sure that we are actually encountering a flat. Yeah, we are almost sure. We are completely seeing that it's a range market after a very powerful, impulsive uptrend. But anyhow, just we want to confirm that, as I said always, we need to confirm few things at least in technical analysis from different point of views in order to just be sure that what we are talking or what we are asserting, it can be a valid assertion. So how can I see these as waves? DC, I'm expecting to be B5, but it seems that it is a ABC, right? It is not 5. Yeah, you can argue that, but in case of that, in that case, how you can interpret this double bottom here or this kind of a range market? In order to answer that, I would just try to find a very common uh, side wave structure. I if you are a fan of to say that it is an ABC or it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least I found one of those correction. It can be a force wave, it can be the B wave or the second wave if you are still a fan of that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this will be called as the another side wave. We already had that in that big impulsive wave in the weekly view, but this is a side wave correction, but it's called the symmetrical triangle. And with that in mind, this is how the correction starts. So um, we are going to have an impulsive wave. Then it starts to just jumping around to trend lines that which those trend lines are symmetrical. You can see that they are going soonish here, they will cross each other. That's why we call it symmetrical. And how we count these waves inside this triangle. The triangles are uh, it's any kind of triangle. We are now just talking about symmetric triangle, but um, have all of them have 5 ways inside, and each of them are trees. So we have 5 trees, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Let's just grab this. You can see in the pop-up that it is a Elliott triangle wave. It is ABCDE, indicating a 5 wave, but not an impulsive. That's why it is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I start the triangle, this is our impulsive. This is the A. This might be the B. I can see this is the C. We can see this has been reached to the bottom again here to D, and this is the 5. And this is not, let's change the color because these are the internal waves. I want to just make it a little bit smaller or some minor. So we have this side wave correction symmetrical triangle with those waves. So this is the final inner wave, of course. How about this one? If we can argue that, I can say that this is probably this is might be the first wave, and 1, 2, 3, 4, or we can say that this is the first wave, this is the second wave, maybe, and now we can start the third wave. It is one, maybe here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is the last of the three, and yeah, this is our correction. So by finding this symmetric triangle, I now have some kind of solution that, okay, we know the last wave. It is only about this part that it is really 2 waves here or 1 wave. If it is 2 waves, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this symmetric triangle will be the fourth wave. If it is only the one, we we are going to have an ABC, and it will be another ABC. We really want to really can really argue. I'm not really a fan to judge about these because sometimes waves are not going to be exactly as we're expecting to be according to theories, because in the end they are all theories. But what is important for us that we know that we had some sort of that impulsive wave here, or with 3 wave, but to reach that point, so we know that in a big picture, I had one A, B, tree here, but I will keep it open for you to discuss if it is really five wave or three waves. I have no idea, to be honest. Anyhow, what is the expectation? So if I go a little bit back, we are actually getting close and close to the current time, and we want to reach a conclusion. As you know, always I will go for three scenarios, for short term, mid term, and long term. So I want to come up with the solutions after just finding these waves. So far, we have talked about some patterns, some support and resistance levels, mostly about waves, but what I want to also bring up into your mind that in the end, these ABC will be finished, and somehow we are going to have another big impulsive wave because it is done to the top. That's one scenario, but also these flats can be double and tripled. I can show you here Elliott double combo wave or Elliott triple combo wave. What that means, I will just it is a lot of theory. I will go through this very fast. Here I can show you this ABC doesn't mean that it is going to immediately just break this very important resistance level and goes up. But it might be this case that the whole this ABC can be counted as W. Then we have a link as X, and then another ABC as Y. So this will be the triple. So we don't know if it is really what we know. Of course, this is the first conclusion. What we know that we are going to reach out this level soon. So this is the short term, of course. This is what we understood. That the short term is that we are going to reach this out. I will talk about the details of this X. This X will be, yeah, of course, this is ABC, this W. This X is also ABC, three wave, and this Y is also ABC. But another thing that doesn't mean, again, you cannot, no one can guarantee that from this point, again, it will broke that this might be the scenario, but also we have another uh, triple combo. I showed you the double combo, but we can have one W here, one link X, again, and continued with Y. You know this so far, but it can come up with another link and with Z. So here you can see that these flat can continue to be ranged because ranged markets sometimes is tough to decide to where it wants to go. As you can see, it's a long time that this Apple stock it is playing around these. Let's clean up the chart a little bit. We talked about a lot of theory. I really uh, don't like to mess the chart up. Let's get rid of these things as well here. We talked about these waves a lot. What is important? I would like to keep this one. I would rethink about that. That this correction it is only up to 38% of people retracement level, and it is indicating that this is not a very big correction from the price perspective. It is just a 38 percentage of that because it is valuable. This was impulsive, and it is not going to actually goes down. As you can see, this support level is so strong, so it prevents the value of this stock to actually decreases more than this. But also it is showing that okay, it has an intention that the price is probably will stay in this area, which I described the scenarios at how long it can be double actually top triple tops or flats I mean. Anyhow, what we know for the short term is that this is going to just return to the top of this. It might be the X or it might continue. Uh, we talked about this both scenario that this from this level, it actually can goes anyway. depending that if it really wants to break it down or not. So this is a good one. Let's jump into the hourly because now we are so close. I want to analyze. I know that we had this ABC. Now this might be our link. Let's just think that this is going to be our link. Let me just zoom a little bit to have a clear understanding of that. Let's just analyze this. If it is going to be an X, then it is going to be an ABC. We already seeing an A, some sort of return. Let's get rid of these arrows here. So I'm seeing 1A, probably B and C, something like that. Let's, or it might be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it is an impulsive wave. It is the sort of the, the next bigger primary third wave to up to break this resistance zone and goes up. But in each case, we know that we have some one impulsive wave here. I don't want to count them to put again a lot of time to count this. Anyhow, what I'm seeing is some sort of a resistance level. I have a triple top here. This is the first thing that came to in my mind. Let's simplify things. Try to keep everything as simple as possible. Those wave countings and theories just because to give us a better understanding. But I would like to keep things simple as well. So here we have one impulsive and a correction. And this has been reached. It created a double, triple top as well. So let's quickly draw some sort of um, correction sorry, feeble retracement to see how was the correction. I can see the correction were up to 38 again, as the bigger one it used to be. Here we have recorded. So it seems that it was some sort of flat as well, but the correction was not that much high. It is an intention that it is saying, okay, I don't want to return again. It is a more powerful wave. So our short-term scenario, it is much more possible now because the correction, if it how you want to count it, if you want to say that it was a sideways correction with a flat, something like that, or it was a zigzag or something ABC, how you want to count it, which I guess it is a flat. Um, Anyhow, we are seeing some sort of double top, but we are expecting that this is going to be broken somehow. And as you see already about these bigger flat, we have the same scenario in this flat. It is 1, 2, 3, ABC, but this might be the X, and we are maybe going to have a triple flat, so it might be 1 ABC again here. So we don't know when it is going to be broken, as we have seen that it has been reversed heavily. What the most important thing is that we know that it is somehow this is our actually midterm, I can say, midterm scenario that it is going to be actually broken. But the short term is that it might be possible that it first reach out to this level and then just goes up and up to that higher level of our weekly structure. Um, for have a better understanding what is going on, let's clean the things up here. Let's just simplify. Again, we talked about those waves, but simplify the things. I would like to have some sort of um, thread line if I can draw. I can see. I can. Oh, this is not a really valid one. Let's get rid of it quickly. Let me just bring up the MACD to see what I'm seeing here. In this 4 hour, let's go back to daily, double check what is going on here. I can see that, okay, we have some sort of divergence. Price has been reached to this place third time. As you can see, the first and second, they're almost the same on MACD, but the third one, you can see that it was not that much. We are having some sort of divergence on MACD. if I go that hourly, just looking at that, you can see obviously that divergence as well. So we have a very strong divergence on the hourly chart here. So we have these 3 points, but each of these points just created a very bad um, actually divergence. That's why I'm saying that this doesn't have the power at the moment to just break this up. As you can see, it just returned when it reached that. It is alive. It is just about today. You can see today what it has been reacted. So this is the short term that it is coming back to this flat level again. But the midterm, somehow after these divergences get fixed, then in the end we have the possibility, we are expecting these to be broken to the upper level because we know that after the C we want to reach out this area. Um, okay, and this is the short term scenario. This is the long term scenario. But what about the long term? Let's go back to the weekly. Let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, we have a lot of things here. Let's get rid of them to understand what is going on. Uh, we know we talked about these short term and midterm. We have the midterm here, but after that, I also talked about the scenario that it might be just uh, one flat that it might be broken. So we already talked about the long term, but also there is a possibility that we return to the same zone or level because this might be our X with A, B, C to the top. After this correction is done, this flat is done, we are go which is as our short-term scenario that we are still playing around this very short flat here. The midterm we in the end will be successfully just broke it up and we reach that point. But the long-term scenario we have two possibilities and we need to keep that open until we reach that point. Then we can analyze the chart again to see to understand what is going on there. So enough about this Apple. And again, I don't. These are just educational contents. I'm not offering any kind of signals. I'm not suggesting you even. Please do not trade with this information. Try to learn because trading is something. Analyzing a chart is something else. You need to have a strategies. You need to just spend time on those strategies on some kind of demo platforms. It can be made by you in your mind on the paper, or you can utilize some sort of platforms that brokers usually provide to you. And those strategies in the end will come will bring you some sort of trades on your analysis. So these are not the signals for trading. These are just analyzing. And for trading, you need those kind of strategies. And we are not talking about those at the moment. So these are just educational content. Please do not trade with them. Let's go back to the news. uh, the last or the next one, next and last one, which I see in this Trading View top stories. This is the place that I usually used to jump in the top stories of the Trading View news flow. But it is so cool. I found it because I can immediately understand what is going on about each stock or currency pair or cryptocurrency. Also, another point is these key points. I can immediately understand before reading the article. Usually, you don't need to just dig into that. If you want to have a big overview of the news, which is Tesla expands its price cuts in the US. So in United States, Tesla has announced price cuts to some of its models. So this hopes that the reduced price tag can restore sleeping demand in the market. So they are hoping with these cuts off, more customers will just kick in to buy their models. So those kind of models that they have cut off, and if that happens, it will be a um, good good for their sale, and it will impact their stock as well. So I will just open up a slot chart to see uh, what is going on here. Let's get rid of this MACD. Happy that I'm already in the weekly view. As you know, I'm really like to be here initially. So I can see again another impulsive, big impulsive wave and some sort of correction. The first thing that I really want to do, you probably know it, I'm doing it every time, just draw some, utilize these Fibonacci retracement. And you can see each time how it is beautifully give me very, very important information that these correction have been reached 78 percentage of the whole correction. This is very important information that you need to carry on when you move into the daily or hourly chart to to go into the details of okay, what is the current situation? What is this? What should be our strategy if we want to trade on that? So this is the very, very key thing. So that's why I need to call out here with these call out tools that 78 percentage, this is not 78, 78 percentage of depot level. So we know that this correction has been reached at. I can clarify this level with some arrows again. We know that price reacted to this previously, but also in this depot. Okay, again, I have a typo here. Let's just quickly fix that. This is the percentage. Hopefully, I can find it. Um, Hooray! This is 78 percentage. Um, it is really important. If we want to count the waves, probably this should be our first wave. Let's quickly do that. And I've talked about waves today a lot. Just go through them very quickly this time. You know that this first wave, this had some sort of a symmetric triangle. We talked about this as well today on our Apple stock. So it might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that if it's zoom in, but we don't want to go that into those details. We have this third wave, we have this zigzag, so it is going to be A, B, C. I'm not going to again draw them. Okay, let's draw them quickly. This is going to be our A, B, C, our minor waves. Uh, let's a little bit fix it a little bit that have a correct view. Okay, this is our ABC. If I can successfully finally uh, fix this, now this is our A a little bit above that. Okay, this is our ABC, and this is our fifth wave. But we are, yeah, good understanding, good knowledge to know that we had that impulsive wave. But the most important thing for us is this some sort of correction, which is a big correction. Let's draw some sort of a trend line for that because this is not flat. This doesn't look like side wave. This is not a correction. If it is a correction, because it doesn't mean that when you have an impulsive wave, you're immediately going to have a corrective structure. If it is the last wave of the big primary wave, so it might be at the end of this, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can begin. So that's why I really like to just create some sort of a channel to understand this. Now I can, after drawing this, I can zoom a little bit to see, okay, is it an ABC or is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I can see obviously 1 to the top of the bottom of the channel, 2 to the top, 3 almost to bottom, 4 to the top, and 5th to the bottom. But we don't know, maybe this hole is an A, this is an B, and this is the C. Or it might be an impulsive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in the end, they are not irregular waves if it is impulsive because they are diagonals. Because as you can see, if we say that this is 1, 2, 3, and this is 4, it is, or maybe something like that. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see the 4 has been reached the territory of the first wave. And this is not a regular behavior of waves. This is happening when we are encountering diagonals, and diagonals are impulsive waves. They are still impulsive. They are still trend here, downtrend, a very important momentums, of course, of the market, but they took much longer in comparison to a very just look at this one. This is one impulsive wave from fourth at the end of the fourth wave as the fifth wave. But this is also an impulsive. You can see how long it took, how many times it goes down and up. These diagonals are more slow from the time perspective, but same behavior. They are still impulsive. So let's just keep that open. That if it is an ABC or it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we don't have a clear understanding here. The most important point that we have that we carried on from that weekly analysis that it was up to 78 percentage, and this is usually a very huge correction. When you encounter this kind of corrections, you might see that okay, the market doesn't really feel that it wants to return up and continue this impulsive because it was a very huge, almost you're really very close to the beginning of the impulsive, right? So you can count it as some sort of return, or if it is even a corrective structure, if it is you're a fan of still that it is an ABC, you should not expect that the next wave is so powerful. The third wave or the fifth wave cannot be so much powerful because we had a very big corrective structure. That's why I'm in doubt that it might be an impulsive, but I would like to keep that open to you. So don't deal with that. This is very good that we know that we have some sort of a wave to the downside. Let's jump to the daily. Let's take a look at this, actually this wave in more details. Maybe we can see that those waves in a better way. Still don't know if it is that this whole is one wave or this is one wave. I really have no understanding of that. But anyhow, let's just forget about it and let's keep things simple. Having those theories is nice, but in the end, for making decisions, we need some simple keys, right? The most important thing that I'm really happy about the channel that I have created. Usually traders, just regardless of which wave you are, who cares, it is important that we actually reach this bottom again moved to the top, again came back to the same structure, almost with a little bit of gap. But when we reached that point, again, we jumped up to the same. And again, when it comes back, we reach the same structure and it reversed up. So this is really great. I talked a little bit about the strategies, not specifically. I told that if you want to trade, you need to have a strategy, and just analyzing it's not important. The strategy also includes the way of your analyzing things, the way of entries, the way how much stop loss you want to have for each trade, how you calculate them, the targets, where are the targets, what is the risk ratio, how much your targets are bigger than your losses when you are choosing a stop loss and um, take profits. But also it is important to the how you trade, and this is one of these kind of channels is one of the best things for swing traders. As you can see, not surprisingly, they are using these channels as a swing. So it is going down, up, down, up, down. So they know where to just sell at the top of the channel, when to buy at the bottom of the channel. They will buy, and at the top of the channel, they will sell. So this is one of the things. So this channel is really good for those swing traders. But again, I don't want to talk about those strategies, but I want to, because in the end it's about trading. Of course, you want to learn the things to trade. If you're not a person like me, that because I don't trade, I really like to analyzing the charts, and I believe these two things are two completely separate things. That doesn't mean that you only can be good at one of them. Of course, you can be good at both of them. But what I'm focusing on, and I want to share with you, is the analysis part and the knowledge of that, not the trading part. So with that in mind, I just want to give you a sense of how, in the end, you can utilize these tools and information in order to create some sort of a plan for yourself or a strategy when you want to trade. Anyhow, what we are I'm interested in this the daily chart is that, okay, I had some sort of impulsive. You know that this is a big impulsive channel. It is a downtrend channel. So the waves to the downside, they are impulsive. Doesn't matter how you want to count them. Again, today I've already talked about these things, but we know that this has been actually reached out to this point, and it seems that we have some sort of correction, which it has been also bended a little bit. So I would come back to this area in a lower time frame soon, but before doing that, I still one thing that it is actually uh, playing with my mind is this level here, which is so important. It's so important just to keep calm and try to find the things. We start from weekly, finding these things a little bit, then jump into the lower time frame. But you have to do the same each time you jump into the lower time frame. You can see that I have found a very important zone here, which I had some sort of, not sort of, it is a double bottom, which in the end led me to swing back to the top of the channel. When it reaches this level again, we can see some sort of a reaction again, moved up. In the end, it finally broke it down. But now, as you know, the polarity principle, support zone now it's broken. Now it is going to be in some sort of a resistance level, or not some sort of, it's a resistance level from now on. And you can see price just reacted to this level also right now. This is one of the things that I want to take away from this daily. Also, I want to see how much this correction was. Is it going to be the top of the channel here? Are we going to move down? You're close to the conclusion. We want to again clarify what is the short, mid, and long range term uh, in the end about this stock. You can see, of course, you can see another triple top here, but we are not interested in. Uh, Anyhow, what I'm interested in, it is exactly on 50 percentage. So we have some sort of information here. Let's just add that here. It is 50 percentage feeble level as the correction. And I guess this is enough for the daily. I have grabbed good information. Let's jump into the hourly. Finally, again, as you start from the beginning, you're actually start from weekly, more older candles. And as long as you jump into the lower time frames, you're interested into the most recent part. So when we actually reach the daily, we forget about that big impulsive wave that we used to look at in weekly. And we just talk about this channel. We talked about that a lot. But now when I jump into 4 hour, I'm not interested on that channel anymore. What are the part that I'm interested in is only this last hourly wave, which I want to look at in more details. So this is the way you need to actually take a look at your charts when it comes to price action analysis, because the only things that you have and you care and you look at is the price itself. No indicators, or sometimes indicators like some oscillator like MACD that help me to confirm some kind of reversals, such as here, that I had this impulsive wave, this minor impulsive wave, and some sort of correction, but I'm seeing some sort of uh, divergence. As you can see, price just reached out these, it reached out, it created a higher high, but a lower high just created. It is not a lower, higher high again, but you can see that it also decreases as the price decreases. So we have some sort of divergence here, but also I can see that this is now in hourly again a triple top. So I can show you here, oh, a lot of arrows. I can grab another one. Just I can see we have the top one. So let's recap what we have reached so far. We have the price. The first price has been reached after that impulsive to a very important resistance level, the one that we found in daily. The second is that it is the 50 Fibo retracement. The third, it's a triple top pattern. And the fourth, it's our divergence on MACD, which are seen. So all of them are indicating that, okay, this is the time for this chart uh, to stop increasing. I can see that if I just draw a trend line, I can again draw a trend line like this if you want to argue, but I really don't fan of this trend line. First, because it has a very high angle. Second, there is a huge gap in between this area and this area. And you can see I have missed these major lower lows here. So the valid trend line is something like this. And let me zoom a little bit. Let me just try to clarify what I mean. Let's zoom more. Let's get rid of this MACD above. Okay, it is now much better. So you can see that this straight line, it is much more valid because I've not missed any major lower low here in this gap, and these two are much similar to each other. They should not be similar. There is no rules for that. But when you have a very big empty space between your trend line and the price, that's not usually a valid trend line. But this is much less, and it is much closer to the area of the next one. If I zoom out a little bit, if you look at the channel that I created, not I created, the price created, and I recognize that, you can see the areas are almost similar. I've not missed a major thing here. All the major lowers and highers are in touch. So this is very important when you draw thread lines. This is something that I usually see beginners uh, have problem. Okay, which of these thread lines so I need to care. So let's again zoom in. Let's care about our last thing because we are almost to the conclusion. Here I can see some sort of wedge. It's a rising wedge. At the end of this impulsive, I'm seeing some sort of uh, rising wedge. I guess we already had four or fifth um, things to confirm that this is the end of this impulsive. It was one of them was this resistance zone, triple top, feeble level, which has been hide out of my screen, the divergence, and this is the fifth one, the rising wedge, that usually when this happens, we are expecting to be broken to the downside, and we are exactly seeing that. If you count this as a trend line or as a falling wedge, you can see this structure has been broken, and this is our fix. indication that, okay, it is done. So we have the breakout here. And then we are seeing that it has been retested. And this is our seventh indication that the same structure has been retested and also reversed back. So it is showing that this breakout was not a fake out, just came out and come up in again. It's just retested and continued its momentum to the downside, and I can count this as the eighth indication of this is going to be a finish of this impulsive wave. Let's show you another one, also interesting. Let's get rid of this. Let's clean up the chart a little bit. You already know about all these eight um, reasons that I'm um, trying to prove that this is the end of this trend. But also I'm seeing some sort of a head and shoulder pattern. This is actually one of the, I can say this is the left shoulder. I have the head here at the top. This is the head. Let's move them a little bit. This is the left shoulder. This is the head. This is the right shoulder. Here we have. And this is again, this is the ninth indication, right shoulder. This is the ninth indication that this is going to be a reversal. And when this, now I'm creating a new trend line, which it's called neckline of that shoulder, head and shoulder pattern. This is the neckline of this head and shoulders. And when it gets broken with a very big gap, it just broke and then also retested, we can dive into the more lower time frame to have a better understanding of this. So we had the breakout here with the gap. Let's just show you the gap here. This was the gap that was our breakout. Let me clarify for you breakout. And also we have the retest. Also in the lower time frame, we are seeing another sort of breakout and retest, which again, it is confirming that the D neckline just broken and retested and came back. So we are going to have a reversal. I think a few of these reasons are enough for you to understand, okay, this Tesla for the short term at least, it is not going to move up and it is going to be down, but these patterns, detecting them, it has another plus that they are going to give you some sort of a target, because when how we actually measure the target after the breakout, it is in a way that from the neckline to the top of the head, you measure, and the same amount from the breakout point, the price is going to move to continue its momentum and continue its reversal, which is some sort of a level here. But don't talk about, because it is going get closer to giving signals, and I don't want to do that. Just want to give you why I wanted to show you this head and shoulder. This is really important to be detected, because it is going to be the reversal and give you a target. So the conclusion, the short term, we are going to have some sort of downside. Let's go back to the daily to see where we were. So in a midterm, after we are going to have some sort of um, reversal here, we had almost nine reason for that. So from here, we have two scenarios in the midterm that it might reach out to the same level. Let me extend this. And it might reach out to the same level again, to creating a double top, and also reaches to this channel again, because there is a little bit of a gap. If it was this head was on the channel line, I would say that okay, uh, it might be continued to downside, but at the moment in the mid range, I would like to keep it open to both scenarios, that it might reach out to this level and came back, or it continues its momentum to the very important support level. Don't forget we have 78% of weekly support level. So this is my short conclusion this is my conclusion for the short term. For both scenarios is possible are possible for the midterm, but the long term I will go to the weekly, and I would say, okay, let's get rid of these. Uh, let's clean up the things a little bit. And now the long term is that regardless of if it's in the end as a midterm, it is going to reach out to these, we are going to reach out to the probably the bottom of this channel. So if, if it immediately continues to drop off to the bottom of this channel, just move this here to have a better sense. It is going to indicate that, okay, now sellers are more powerful because it started to just moving to reach down to the bottom of the channel without actually reaching out to this top of the channel with a huge gap. So probably in that case, coming back to our first scenario, it is a fifth wave. It is an ABC pattern, or because it is corrected to 78 percentage, it is going to be the impulsive wave, and it is going to just drop and drop more and more. Then in that case, if we just the mid scenario just immediately continue to drop instead of reaching the top of the channel, that scenario then will be more possible that we are actually in a very more powerful impulsive wave downtrend, and that's why sellers just don't like to reach out to the top of the channel they're not interested in. And this top of the channel is going to be forgotten, and probably we are going to see some sort of breakout to the downside. But that's a very long talk. I can come back 2 years ago and still maybe we are not reaching there, because price can play around this channel. uh, so I will just close my big or long-term conclusion that yeah, it is going to in the end reach out this bottom of the channel in two scenarios, depending to the mid-range scenarios, that it might goes up and then can come down or immediately come down. To finish it up, because I just showed you um, uh, head and shoulder pattern here, let me just bring back to our previous analysis. It was Apple. I can show you that pattern as well. Um, if I go to this 4 hour, if I just zoom out a little bit, you know that we talked about a lot of things here, but I said that it might be an ABC to the top. So this was my mid range, and because we had this kind of um, reversal here to the top, the short term was actually reversing and then maybe going up. But you can see we are going to have a possible reverse head and shoulder. So the head and shoulder pattern, it is not only uh, for reversal to the bottom, also we have a reversed uh, reversed of that pattern, which this is the left shoulder. It can be the head. And probably we are going to have, this is a possible, it is not head and shoulder, but we can have a possible right shoulder. Oh, a lot of typos. Possible and right shoulder like this. And this, if that will be the case, and if price just came into the down of bottom of this flat and then just goes up like this, then the neckline will be the support zone. So as we learn, for just measuring what will be the length of, what will be the target of these, I can utilize this curve. And again, you can see it is going to be something similar this area. I didn't actually draw it correctly. If I want to draw it correctly, it will be much bigger. And now I can remove this one and utilize this one. Then the breakout of this strategy is now much closer to the target that we already talked about. So you can see also some possible patterns, but you cannot, they will be counted as that pattern when the neckline just get broken. So you need to see the left, head, right. But because I just learned you, I just wanted to came back here that you can see you can just go beyond and see the possible patterns in the future. So you have some tools or weapons in your pocket for that stock or chart or crypto or index. Then you can bring it out when it is necessary, when that pattern just get completed. For the Tesla, if we already had that, this is the difference, which is also important. Oops, Tesla, let's choose it correctly. You can see that this head and shoulder, that it was the left, right. Uh, I can just to finalize my streaming for today like this. This was our neckline because this is the left shoulder, this is the head, this is the right shoulder. It was our breakout. I guess we had a better view on 2 hourly, 2 hour view. So the left shoulder, right head, and the right shoulder, a breakout with a gap, just the gap just recovered. Just another point. A lot of things comes to my mind when I'm streaming. I know I'm talking about a lot of theories, but usually gaps will be get covered. You can see how beautifully that happens. And when there was a gap here, it just got covered. And when this gap created, it just got covered until it fulfilled and then came back. So this is because this is an emotion. Price needs to be more stable until it won't get that power to continue its momentum. That's why it usually covers those gaps. It is not always happening. It is not always happening. You can see exception here. It has not been covered because that emotion led to increase more. But you can see almost any gap. I can zoom a little bit here. Just this small gap in the few hours ago is just covered by the shadow of this candle. It is about just 3 or 4 hours ago. So another point, just I wanted to add well, because I saw this just gap, this neckline just broken and retested, and now we can say this is a bright head and shoulder. We can obviously say yes, this is head and shoulder. We can just measure the head from the neckline. We can set our target, but when it is not created, when it is not been shaped completely, you cannot assert that this is the pattern. You can say this might be a possible, as I just clarified for you on Apple, it might be a possible head and reverse head and shoulder, but here we have a completed one with the breakout, with the retest, and now we know that the short term it will be a downside, maybe to cover this gap or something like that. But I will keep that open to the traders to go to their strategies, find their stop losses and targets. We are not talking about trading here. We're always talking about technical analysis and the knowledge of that just for the educational perspective. I think we are done for this streaming as well. I have a Discord channel. If you have any question regarding this, what you have seen, you can reach out there. You can ask your questions. I will get back to you as soon as I get a chance. Also, you can put comments if you have any feedback on YouTube, or if you want, you can send messages on Twitch as well. I will be grateful to see your feedbacks. But thanks for watching my stream. Thank you very